So at the Brilin Functional Medicine Centre, we allow up to 2 hours for a new client, and when they come back for repeat visits, we allow up to an hour. And all consultations include a bioenergetic scan using the Asyra Machine.
The Asyra Machine does not diagnose. For example, if you've got chronic fatigue or if you've got bronchial asthma, the machine doesn't show up those particular things, because that's a consequence and that's a symptom, if you like, that's being described by a name. Asyra doesn't measure symptoms and give them names. The second thing is that the Asyra mentions conditions that are, if you like, contributions to the problems that appear to be emerging.
To help understand, we could use this analogy. Imagine one day you come home and you've got wet carpet. Gasp! You've got wet carpet, quickly chop it out or throw a mat on it to try and solve the problem. Well, does that solve the problem? Well, of course not, because there could be, someone could have left the tap on, or there could be a burst pipe, or the roof could be leaking. So there's a big difference between wet carpet and what's causing the wet carpet.
So the Asyra looks for holes in the roof and finds out which part of the roof is leaking. And that means that you've got, if you like, the contributing factors. Now, the interesting thing about this is that the hole in the roof looks very different from the wet floor, and you've got to say, would you think of connecting the two? Well, it takes a bit of thought to work out that the rain dripping through the hole in the roof is actually the problem, and it's no good looking at the carpet on the floor and discussing it and talking about surgically removing the carpet and putting in a nice new bit or putting a mat over it, because the roof is still leaking. So if you like, while the roof is still leaking, the Asyra is looking at the roof and trying to find where the hole is. Now, there are numerous holes in our, if you like, roof. And what we've got to do is recognise that the Asyra, that can do 40,000 different things, will pick up numerous different bits and pieces that contribute to the hole in the roof problem. And what I love about the Asyra is that all these different things may not be connected with the immediate symptoms and may not be, if you like, triggered off in the mind as being connections.
So what we're kind of trying to say is there's a big difference between what's happened and what's happening. For example, you get a diagnosis of eczema. So the eczema has happened already, hasn't it? Well, what are the driving forces that have produced eczema? What is happening in your body? Is it toxicity, deficiency, emotional trauma, a mixture of all three that has manifested itself into eczema?
The technology behind the Asyra is extremely interesting because minute pulses at very, very low vibrational levels, very, very low power. Those vibrations are sent through into a couple of electrodes that are held. You hold them and the electrodes send those pulses through. Let's say, for example, a pulse for mercury is sent through. The vibration for mercury comes into the body. If you have mercury in your body, it's highly likely that you would expect a resonation with the pulse that's coming through, and the intensity of the resonation gives you an indication of the presence of the mercury. It could be that the pulse has got, if you like, connected with some emotional state, maybe by hormone change or maybe by some other way. Well, whatever that pulse is, if there's another pulse inside the body that is already operational, then the two pulses resonate on the same frequency and the machine records what's happening.
Yeah, so if anyone's interested in coming in for a consultation and having a scan, we're located in both Christchurch and Timaru. We're quite flexible with our times as well. Sometimes we'll work in the evenings or the weekends because some people have to travel from afar. It's just a simple matter of sending us an email or even calling us if you've got any more questions.